So, I'm starting another one of my new series that I will definitely not stop making after one or two videos. But I'm going to be doing a tips and tricks slash overall guide for different legends. And I'm gonna obviously be starting out with my main, Loba, who I've been playing since her release in Season 5. And I've picked up quite a few tips over the... God, it's been a year since release, that's crazy. Over the year I've played her. And yeah, so we're just gonna go through this and let me know what you guys think. So the first one, not really a tip, but just enjoy the game. Like, you're obviously not gonna win every game, win every fight. You might screw up, your team might screw up, but just enjoy it. It's literally a video game, and if you get angry, you are less likely to win fights because you're just not focusing as well. So just have fun playing the game like we did. We found this random Pathfinder that just popped up on the window of the train, and 2 seconds later we got absolutely annihilated. So, like I said, it's a game. Just have fun playing it, and I hope these tips help. So in Apex, it's less about hitting your shots and more about ensuring that you do not get hit. Each character has a different set of movement animations, so each character is going to have a different strafing pattern that's going to work best for them. So take someone like Crypto. Really short and quick back and forth bobs will make his head move up and down and make it really hard to hit. Short to medium range strafes as Lifeline will twist the character model a lot, again making you much harder to hit. As Loba, what I've found is you want to do short range movements to twist the character model, but not quick movements, as those will keep it in the same place. You also want to throw in some medium range movements to give you extra distance and make you harder to track. So just combining all those will make you really hard to hit, and as with almost every strafe pattern, you want to throw some crouches in there as well, making sure that you're not going to get hit and win more gunfights. It always annoyed me how much time I spent in a game looting, and that's why I find Loba's passive super helpful. Now I can find high quality loot whenever I need it. So the first tip is going to be to ping this loot for your teammates, because you're able to then ensure they have the best gear and you're going to win more fights and have an advantage. You can also land coming off the drop on high quality loot, and the most important thing to find is purple body armor, because that's really going to give you an advantage in almost every situation. If you're also low on loot off the drop, like I was here, you can go for any highlighted item you see, even if you can't quite tell what it is, because chances are it's going to help you. So just always chase down that loot or see if you can ping it to determine what it is. Now this part kind of pairs with your ultimate, but you can look through the ultimate to see what loot is in the area, and then use your passive to highlight and find that. So I was looking for an anvil receiver here, so I see this gold dot that I assume is the anvil receiver. I failed to climb that wall, but I'm then able to go and find that anvil receiver without having to use it as a slot in one of my black market grabs. You can also see here as I catch up to this train, rest in peace train, that it's unlooted, and although I'm not paying it as I'm trying to stop it for my team, over the mics I'm calling out what items are here and we're determining who's going to get what. So you really need to coordinate with your teams what items you're going to get and which items are where, which will again give you an advantage over teams with less or lower quality loot. Now Loba's tactical has finally been fixed, and so it makes it all the more important to learn how it functions and how to be good with it. So what happens when you start aiming it is you'll see that blue line showing the path it's going to take, as well as that arrow where it's going to land. So when you throw it, there will also be this orange line snaking up underneath it, and what that will show you is if you were to cancel the tactical right there and call it down to the ground, that would be where it lands. So you have to really practice with this in the firing range, getting good at calling it down early. So what I like to do to practice this is go to this target, throw it, and cancel it so you land right on top of that thin line, and it's really good to practice aiming your tactical. Now the tactical is best when thrown at around a 45-degree angle, as when you try to scale steep buildings like this, you often can't see where it's going to land, and it's going to fail. So you're now going to be out of a tactical and stuck in an animation, so you really have to know where you're going to land. Also, you have to be careful of these spots like these, where it'll bounce up and down or get stuck, making you either do that recall animation, because you're just going to be unable to do anything else, you're going to lose time, and if someone's chasing you, you're screwed.
Don't ask questions.
Now, this one isn't the most beneficial tip, but you can actually bounce the jump drive off surfaces. And this also will help you if you're trying to get up a building and you throw it and it hits the wall, it'll just shoot you down to the ground like that. So you have to be careful for that, but you can also combine it for some pretty cool plays. Now, also with the new buff, Loba can sprint at full speed while deploying the jump drive and while landing. So what this means is you're going to be able to move, slide jump, wall jump, whatever you want to do while you're moving with the jump drive, and it's going to make you much harder to hit, so it's a better ability overall. Now, jump drive has a pretty long cast time, and if you'll see there, it'll take a while to take off the hand and throw it. So if you're trying to get maximum distance, because it is a projectile, and the higher up you are, the farther it'll go. If you jump while deploying it, it's still gonna take that extra second or two to get off the wrist, and you're not gonna go as far. So you want to make sure it's thrown before you jump off a building. You can also throw jump drive mid-air to get your opponents to fall off or get the flank on them, just like this. It isn't the most helpful, but it looks super cool. Jump drive's primary purpose is a repositioning tool. So I'm getting pushed by this team that I do not want to fight at that location, so I drop down and throw my jump drive up to this high ground, where I'm able to use this position to easily knock one with my bow check, regroup with my team, and eventually win the fight. Throw jump drive well on zip lines or jump towers to get a quick angle change and move in an opposite direction. It's also super helpful for getting out of the ring or catching up with your teammates. When you're in a fight and you knock an opponent, or for whatever other reason you need to get out and heal, it's good for moving to a far away location, often behind cover or on high ground, to pop a quick battery. Just make sure you don't go too far from your team, or they can get stuck in a pretty bad position. As long as you know you're going behind cover because you don't want to get shot at while you're in that animation, jump drive is really good for flanking opponents, especially for objects that they can't normally cross, like that lava here. So I'm easily able to get this high ground and knock this falcon back to the totem. Be careful where you're throwing the jump drive, and always watch that line, as you don't want to get caught in that animation or stuck with it not working. Also, don't throw it into a fight or at an enemy, as you're usually going to get killed right away. By practicing with the jump drive and checking where it's going, you can get in some pretty nice places with it, as I use this high ground to get up on that ledge, grab the armor, and go into loot. Unlike other movement abilities, you're not going to actually move with the jump drive, so you can throw it through small spaces like the one of these windows while staying behind cover if you need to make a rotation while you're being shot at. While using the jump drive, try to stay behind cover as much as you can. You're really vulnerable while you're in that cast animation waiting for it to land, so if you're behind cover, you're able to quickly move while not risking taking damage. Also try to teleport into cover as well, so you're safe while you're waiting for the landing animation to finish. Now, the majority of Loba's value comes in through her ultimate, so you really need to know how to use it effectively. Now, you have 2 slots to take items from within the black market, and you also are able to take unlimited ammo. So this means that if you're in an area with enough weapons, you can take whatever loadout you want and still have enough ammo to use it. You also need to periodically put down the black market throughout the game to keep your team constantly stacked up on ammo. If you or your team runs out of ammo while one of you is playing Loba, you're playing her wrong. Now, this is a really obscure thing that I discovered that I haven't seen anywhere else. Because of the bow check bow that has been introduced this season and the new mechanic of the arrows on the ground that you're able to pick up, you can actually use the bow check if you're close enough to an opponent, shoot the arrows. So you see here I'll purposely miss some arrows because there's no one there, and go into the black market to recover your arrows. So you can just spam the bow check from a distance if you have a black market. It's awesome. When you're deploying the black market, you'll see its range on the minimap, which is helpful if you're trying to loot certain buildings or if you're trying to reach a care package, as I am here. Most people know this, but you can grab weapons and supplies from closed care packages, which is a really nice addition, as she didn't have that in the beginning. But while my teammates and I discussed who wanted the triple take, I noticed that it was missing. This immediately told me that the last squad was looting the care package, so I knew their location because of the black market.
Find something good here.
So the black market can actually be used to determine what's going on and where some teams are. You can use it in this care package, you can use it to determine if teams are looting death boxes or the surrounding area, and you can even use it to determine where people died, if they're close enough to you, and if a squad has died. Using the black market to monitor the loot in an area and using that information to determine what teams are doing and where they are is super helpful and something you should definitely practice with your team. Black market has no height limit, so that means you're able to place it at the top of tall structures or at the bottom of them and loot that entire area. Always make sure that black market has adequate cover. I thought I did here, but apparently we did not, and it got shot out right away. So make sure it's behind cover so your team can use it without it getting shot out. If you need to make a quick rotation, or there are a bunch of death boxes you want to get the best loot from quickly, putting down the black market is a great way to do so, as it recharges pretty quickly. The black market can be used to block doors, although just be careful if you're using controller like I am, and because the door open keybind and the black market keybind are usually the same. While you see me struggling with this door here, I'm going to tell you something about opening and closing the black market. Most people will tell you to close the black market right after you're done with it, but that isn't always the case. While you want to close it if you're leaving an area or if a team's pushing you right away, then yes, close it. However, if you're staying in that area for an extended period of time, keep it open as you can use it to grab ammo, monitor the loot, or see what loot is in that area. You can also put it right up next to the ring and use it to loot death boxes or other things you want to loot that are inside the ring, as the radius will let you grab loot from a pretty large distance away. Always throw black market down when you enter a new area, because you can see what loot is in that area and you and your team can grab better loot from the new loot pool. You just have to be careful if there are squads there, because the activation noise and blue light thingy are pretty easy to tell where the black market is coming from, so stay on the alert. You can also use it to grab specific scopes or attachments for weapons, if you can't use that weapon as well without a specific scope. Armor is also the first thing you always want to look for in a new area, and one of the things you always want to grab. If you're an endgame and have low quality armor, like I did here after just being respawned, you can use it to find purple armor from a death box somewhere in the area, as there usually almost always is one. You can also grab ultimate accelerants to get more black markets quickly. Always grab something from the black market. Even if you don't need anything, it's helpful to take some batteries or grenades or just some item you may not necessarily need but might help you. You can also grab ultimate accelerants and get more black markets. Just don't leave a spot open. It annoys me how my teammates do this, and you can just grab so much loot that will probably help you. Like I said earlier, it takes a lot of time to look through every specific death box, so you can put down a black market and quickly grab the best loot in an area, especially in a place like Skulltown or any other hot drop where you want to get out of there as quick as you can. It's beneficial to just grab the best loot and go without taking too much time. So that's it. That's about every single tip I have as Loba. I apologize if I forgot any, and I know it wasn't really the most organized, but I'm not the most organized person to begin with. So yeah, let me know down in the comments who you want to see next in this series, and I'll try and make a guide for them. One last tip is Loba's a really good team play character, so always be calling out to your team and just playing with your team, because you'll get sometimes amazing plays like the one we had here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. See ya.